Hello, so welcome to another episode. So what we're trying to build here is we're trying to build a lead qualification system. So the tools that are going to be used are make.com, GoHighLevel, and then Whapi. We're going to be using for the lead qualification flow in this instance. So the idea is once a lead comes into GoHighLevel, we want that lead to automatically be sent a WhatsApp message. And then once the lead gets the WhatsApp message and the lead replies, they want to take the lead through a qualification system, a qualification sequence. So the idea is to interact with the contact through different questions and then extract what questions qualifies the lead, and then that lead is automatically updated back in GoHighLevel as a qualified lead. Now coming to the flow in make.com. So the first idea is we want to track when new leads are added to GoHighLevel, and that is done using a webhook. So the webhook is triggered immediately the lead comes into the system, and then we want to communicate to that lead through Whapi. So Whapi is a third-party system that connects make.com to your WhatsApp API system. So using Whapi, we need to have the number of the contact we want to communicate to. So immediately that lead lands in GoHighLevel, the phone number is extracted. But one of the issues is that the phone number has the country code has to be stripped of the plus sign. So that using the set variable, we strip off the plus sign from the contact phone number. So that is used to communicate to the contact through Whapi. So once the contact is communicated through Whapi, we want to update the contact in GoHighLevel saying the contact has been contacted already. So that is going to help us in our subsequent flow. So before we move to the next flow, we want to be able to track new leads once they respond on Whapi. So that is done by embedding a webhook into Whapi. So we embedded a webhook through the Whapi API call, HTTP API call. So you can see this is the webhook URL that is sent as a body to this endpoint. So we can have this webhook track responses to that particular channel in Whapi. So this is going to help us in the next flow. So the next flow is meant basically for the qualification system, for the qualification sequence. So here we are using Gemini as the AI to qualify the leads. So we can do this in an hardcore way, but the disadvantage of doing this through logic is that it removes some flexibility when the user responds to information that are not valid to the qualification system. So using an AI gives us more edge, and then it helps us to better qualify the lead. So the webhook that was previously embedded to Whapi is the first module here. So you can see from the test record, you can see this message comes in. It contains the response from the contact, and then the phone number, and then some other information that's going to be necessary for the flow. So once that contact comes in, we are going to go query GoHighLevel to extract the previous information, because before the AI can respond, we have to know what particular stage that contact is. Has it been contacted before? What are the questions that has been extracted from that particular lead? So that is why we need to get to GoHighLevel first as our temporary memory system. So once those information comes back, we feed that to Gemini. So Gemini knows the informations that are empty and the information that has been collected from the contact, like the first name, the email, the financial objective, the monthly budget, etc. that qualifies the lead. And then there's a system prompt that helps the AI to better qualify the lead. So this is based off on client requirement. So these are the different qualification questions, and then the expected schema response for Gemini to respond with. So this schema is going to help us to map Gemini's response to the next subsequent module. So we want to send a reply back to the contact. At the same time, we want to update the contact information in GoHighLevel based off on the questions from the previous response. So that contact is updated. So we have an if and else statement here that checks if that contact has been qualified. So if that contact has been qualified, then we want to tag that contact in GoHighLevel saying this is a qualified lead. But that will only happen once the contact has gone through the qualification system. So there are different cases where the contact might not conclude the question, and that makes the contact not a qualified lead until the questions have been completed. So that is why we have an if and else statement here that checks a particular feed that has been sent to Gemini, which is the qualification field. You can see the qualified lead is here. So it is either true or it is either false. So if it is true, then that means that all questions have been answered and that lead is qualified, and that flows the lead into the it tags the lead with the qualified lead tag. So that wraps up the entire flow for the lead qualification system. And then yeah, so in the subsequent episode, we're going to talk about how do we integrate GoHighLevel, how do we integrate Whapi, and how do we connect our webbook to our GoHighLevel system and other tools that we are using for this particular flow. Alright, thank you.